Glad we're doing this in a brewery. This is a perfect pour right here. No foam on this crowd at all. So we're gonna crack this thing open like it's barrel aged, right guys? Yeah? All right. This is a great way to de-stress. I know you can't always go into an offshore haze. Sometimes you have to de-stress at home. And you know, for me, I've rarely had a good adult living situation. Take my first roommate, for example, the one that sets the bar. We met at work. It's a trap. No one is at work like they are at home, even if they work from home. I'm gone a couple days, I come home to a surprise new pet who just came off a full shift of fertilizing the carpet. There's nothing quite like opening the door to a sunset glistening off a freshly fertilized carpet. Your nose sings it before your eyes can bring it. My roommate interrupts this Kodak moment to ask, "Isn't he sweet?" "Yeah, his silence is golden, like the puddle I just stepped in," after I took my shoes off. Now, she'd run from conflict, so off she went. Front door, front gate, parking lot patter, disappear into the park, right? I go to sleep. I wake up to a sea of assorted placemats covering various stains. The pattern seemed to be, the worse the stain looked, the worse the placemat looked. I yell, "Are we playing hot lava in here? Do I just jump from mat to mat?" Too strong. Door, gate, park, gone. Then someone told her shampoo was bad for your hair. So she started dyeing her hair with hair dye to brighten it up. It stained our tub so bad, it looked like we melted down Bikini Bottom to bootleg sponges in there. All while her hair is falling out. So she went back to washing. No. She went with a more drawn-out approach. Literally. She painted a centaur and fairy forest mural over every inch of the bathroom mirror. Now, I imagine when I opened the bathroom door to see goat legs, sparkle wings, and veiny trees, I probably had a look of shock on my face. But again, no reflective surfaces, so I'm guessing here. I rhetorically yell, "Am I missing something?" Door, gate, park, gone. A fun for everyone game she would play was put the broken thing back together, and maybe the caffeinated guy coming off of an overtime shift will think he broke it. Yeah, really burns the midnight oil. Let's play. So her friend is leaning on the fridge door, just looking up at the beer bottle cap she'd press into the asbestos popcorn ceiling. You know, she had the voodoo of a new brew, you know. When suddenly the top door hinge snapped. So thinking quickly, he shoved everything in the fridge, suctioned the door shut, and went to bed. As if where they're from, all fridge doors drag across the tile, so what's the problem? Then I come home. Late, tired, vulnerable, just looking for a glass of milk to wash me down to Sleepy Town. I pull the door. Bam! Oh! Scrape! What the? Door, gate, park, gone. I don't even think she was dressed for that one. Think about it. How could she go from asleep to an outfit change to a sprint to the park in seconds? She wasn't Batgirl. We didn't have an Alfred. That's commitment. Yeah, good. Yeah. All right. So now sometimes she would, solve some problems that affected us both, like when she locked herself in the bathroom. I know, I asked too. You mean locked out? No, in. Okay. So her boyfriend took all the interior doors off, put them in the walk-in closet. Then to make room, put all my stuff in the coat closet. I bet you thought coat closets were for like 5 jackets, a box of photos, and a vacuum. Yeah, they are. But they crammed it all in there. It looked like an interview to stuff burritos for a college campus Chipotle. And frankly, I would have hired them. Then they magic taped glow-in-the-dark 80s beads where doors used to be. Now, beads aren't locking me in or out of a room, so they're not wrong. But when I walked in to see plastic green waterfalls majestically cascading down every doorway, I sarcastically asked, "Hey, Morpheus, which pill do I take to exit the Matrix?" Door, gate, park, gone. Now, some of that's probably on me. I didn't even consider compromise for any of these, right? What if I had walked in and instead said, "Hey, I like where your head's at with the falling beads, but how about we put the door back up with some fake locks," right? It works for every public bathroom stall you've ever been in. Remember how safe you felt, right? Now, on to my second adult home and second surprise pet. Jealous? This strapping lad lived in our living room with a privacy curtain, really helped the apartment flow right to your own bedroom, and stay in there. He and his dog were always in your face about something, right? Like father, like son, those two. So one time, I open the bedroom door, the dog chest thumps me, bites a hole in my shirt, spits it on my shoe, looks up, farts, then walks downstairs. What? Keep in mind, I did nothing to provoke this fabric-spewing crop dusting. And if his girlfriend was home, you couldn't talk to her. Well, we're both in the kitchen. Should I pretend she's a ghost? Like Sixth Sense when all the cupboards are open? She walks in. I couldn't find the Pop-Tarts. Then I hurry off. They look down to see a sweaty handprint next to my unfinished cereal. We did have one good night with this guy. All right. We went out to a buffet, had some drinks, right? Not knowing he was on meds. Not my pig, not my farm. So we have our drink. Then he goes out to grab some food. We hear the loudest restaurant crash you'll ever hear, not followed by cheering. So, not a server dropping dishes. We go out to see him picking up all of the bacon off the floor. So we usher him back to the table. He stops at a stranger's table and says, "You know what looks good? That." Then grabs a piece of their meal with his bare hand and eats it. The terrified expressions on these people's faces. It'd be like the victim of like an ADT home security commercial. That's what we saw. Sadly, that's the fondest memory I have of this guy. Then one Wednesday, he texts me, "Hey, don't ever use my soap again. I found a hair." I reply, "How do you know it was my hair? At least 3 people share that shower." He says, "I know it was you. Don't deny it." I say, "Well, unless you save that hair to compare to another hair you took from me in my sleep, there's nothing to discuss." He says, "Fine. Just think of the last thing I washed and the first thing you washed." I was like, "Well, obviously you're saying that because the last thing you washed was your butthole, the one you're using to write these messages." He replies, "Exactly." Okay. Well, the first thing I washed was my Johnson. So to be clear, your vision was for me to be in the shower on hump day thinking of my Johnson and your butthole? Crickets. Is that why I can't talk to your girlfriend? No reply. And I can tell some of you are wondering, yes, I did use his soap, okay? But it was just like when he decided to go out and get a big unruly dog. I was already in the shower, then realized I had no soap. And I wished I had a soap to call my own. Then I saw that bar sitting there, all alone, looking at me like it needed me as much as I needed it. There was no time to ask permission. And I knew there would be consequences, but I didn't care. Because in that moment, the soap was free, and so was I. All this not having soap talk reminds me of this pirate. He docks at a trading port, for obvious reasons. But first, he needs to, stretch his sea legs, hit the head, drink something that's not watered down rum. So, I should say there is something unique about this pirate first. He doesn't have an eye patch or a peg leg or, a shoulder parrot. He has a ship's wheel coming from the crotch of his trousers. So, he saunters up to the bar. Just think of like a toy soldier, but if there's anything green on this pirate, it's mold. So he says to the barkeep, "I'll be needing a pint of ale." The barkeep pours the beer, turns around, stops. "The first one's on me, if you can tell me where that came from." The pirate says, "Aye, it started as a wee splinter. Now, it's driving me nuts." You guys have been awesome. My name's Robyn. Thank you very much.